I wish somebody would explain to me a long fucking time ago the real issues with target fixation and the real issues with you wanting something so bad that you lose sight of you lose sight of everything. I did have a coach in college. That kind of was trying to explain to me, especially with wanting to throw the hammer far, is that you have to want it bad enough. You have to want it just bad enough. And the harsh reality of the biggest things that I've come to learn or what have you is that when when you're making goals, you're making in your mind, when you're doing things out of desperation or because I would say out of desperation, and then almost out of an insecurity, that fundamentally doesn't work. It really, really doesn't work. I think that leads you to get out of pocket. You get outside of yourself. You end up doing things that you shouldn't need to have been doing, and you end up judging yourself based off of the fact that, did you get to the point that you said that you were going to get to or not? And this is financially. This is like when we're talking about the gym, lifting, any of it. Like, it is like, this has to be one of the most extremely unhealthy things to do, because yes, you fixate on, I'm going to bench X amount of weight, okay, and then after 30 days, after 60 days, if you don't bench it, then what? So I'm just supposed to blow my brains out now? like what are you supposed to do? Because in the reality of it is, it's the process of it, and it's really being patient with yourself through the process of the whole thing. And I've had a real hard time trying to wrap my head around that concept, because yes, I want things and I want to do things or what have you, and you kind of, you are where you are or what have you, and that doesn't mean that you're not going to get. That doesn't mean you're not going to get where you're going. That just means you have to find a different way of looking at it, and using different metrics to kind of judge or what have you, your progress or what have you. And it doesn't, just because you don't get the bench press number doesn't mean that you haven't gotten better. Well, you went to the gym every day. Well, you did this, you did that. And that's like one of the biggest things that I think doesn't get taught in school, that needs to get taught or whatever. And I picked this up from somebody, but there's leading indicators and lagging indicators. And yeah, the lagging indicator, long story short, the lagging indicators come later. That's why they're called lagging indicators. And eventually they'll show up, but yeah, all the other things are important. Are you recovering? Did you work out? Did you read a book? All these very, very simple things are more important to producing the outcome, and doing these small things over a longer period of time are more correlative to producing the outcome that you want to than the outcome itself. And that's something that nobody ever taught me in school. Never taught me ever. Like, I've had to learn that sort of the hard way from coming out here and throwing. And I've gotten the pressure lately or what have you in my brain. You need to stop doing this. You're wasting your time. This isn't making you any money. And this has happened the whole fucking time I've been doing it. This isn't making you any money. So why are you doing this? And why are you being a loser? Messing around with this. This isn't never going to take you anywhere. Blah, blah, blah. And time again, I shut those thoughts down. Time and time again. I have to, because I just don't. It's hard not to acknowledge them. I acknowledge them as real thoughts and real reality, obviously, but I don't. I'm able to cast them off and not live in that, because yeah, I could obviously go and not have to not do this a day again ever in my life. I could easily go do that, but I find a way to forge on somehow. So yes, it's all about finding the right ways to look at things and not getting so frustrated. But anyways, got out here, took some hammer throws, went a lot better today than it has the other days, definitely. And then yes, but probably one of the better practices I don't know, couple weeks or what have you. Got better towards the end. Got a little saucy. Got into the weight room as well. Got a little bit, getting a little bit done there. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna, cause it's an interesting place. It's not my typical setup. But it's workable. There's stuff that I can do. There's things I can do to get better, and figuring out what those things are, and using the different equipment and working around people. Well, it was never going to be perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect, but it's a lot of more than likely than more of the times it's doable, and you can manage to figure it out. Today out here was the first day. Earlier in the video, you'll see the first time that somebody came up and kind of said that I had an issue with throwing today, which was interesting. But the biggest thing that I thought about with the throwing is that it seems like I find a new wrinkle with my entry all the time. It seems like I won't necessarily change up the entry, but it seems like I do weird, different idiosyncrasies or what have you. And when I forget what I'm doing that I find that works, I go on to the next day or what have you, or I pick up the hammer again, and then I completely forget, and I don't keep track of what was working. Today, I was almost stepping back directly zero to the back of the ring on that first wind, and then, or stepping almost directly behind, and then bringing the ball back up to zero on the second one, and then having the entry. That was very, very interesting to me, and I don't know how I figured that out, and that's what was helping my throws go better. But I don't know why. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing that I do that. I wonder if it's based off of your strength in different places of your body. I have no idea, but I've definitely had about, and like, I will say like 10 different small differences in the way that I've tried to do the entry, especially with like and not wines. I think I've tried the wines a little bit more than one wine, multiple wines, but just different, just different positions, just a lot of different positions, small positions changes in the entry. So I don't know, something I need to iron the kinks out of, but I'm tired. That's just about all I got. You already know what the deal is. Run on your toes, keep your mouth closed, lock your doors, and save your throws. Most importantly, live to fight another day. I'm gonna get the hell up out of here.